Come on, there we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates, coming to you from the crossroads of North America. Gotcha. 392 miles. I'm messed up tonight. 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina, in the Area Command. This is Ron Tyler with the Emergency Management Associates. Folks, I want to start off this program as we've been doing before with the Pledge of Allegiance and the United States National Anthem. Would everyone please rise?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now would you make welcome straight from Washington, D.C., the United States Army Corps Quartet.
Yeah.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Oh yeah! Come on, folks, let them know it.
America's finest, the United States Army Barbershop Quartet, performing at the Barbershop Quartet Convention in 2015. We want to thank all of our military armed forces men and women, wherever they might be around the globe, as well as our allied armed forces, wherever they might be. God bless them all. Thank you for your service, and may you all return home safely after your tours of duty end. God bless you, and thank you so much for your service. Guys, we have a special treat for you tonight. Stand by for this. As a response to our guest tonight, O Canada, performed by the Mormon Tabernacle Choir.
Sorry guys, I lost my internet signal. I had to switch it to my son's. You there?
I'm still playing. Be quick for a second.
Oh.
That was
no
Canada
fun.
by the Tabernacle Choir from Salt Lake City, Utah. I wanted to play that because we have a special treat for all of you tonight. Stand by for this, guys. Guess what? We've got you now. I want to invite our buddies Dave Delisle and Barry Prince to the show tonight. Welcome, gentlemen. Oh, Canada.
Well, thanks, Ron.
You're
Always fun
thank
to be
you.
here.
I'm glad to
Isn't
have
it?
you guys here. We wanted Barry here last week, but he was picking mushrooms.
Yeah, he blamed me for not calling him. Go figure.
Well, you know what happens when you're in the bush and you start eating them mushrooms.
Gotta eat
Anything
those
can happen.
mushrooms. Gotta eat those
I'm
mushrooms.
just kidding, of course. I'm just kidding. I only forage edibles that are non-hallucinogenic. I'm not into the magic mushrooms, but they do grow up here, Ron, and if you wanted to eat them and take a trip while you were picking, you could do that very easily.
Yeah.
But I choose not to do that at this point in my life.
No, I don't want to either.
But they're here.
Yeah,
They're here.
yeah. I'm
Well,
sure they're
they're
everywhere.
Yeah, who needs to hallucinate when real life is worse?
Yeah, no kidding. Isn't that the truth? Oh man, it's crazy. It's crazy. This morning I did a program. This morning, early afternoon, I did a program regarding Hawaii, and we have been asking for a long, long time. Why did those fires happen? And we've been asking, where are the children? The biggest question, one of the biggest other questions we've been asking is who is responsible? Ladies and gentlemen, guess what? Today, Mayor Bisson of Maui, Hawaii, admitted responsibility for what he did. He is the one that's responsible for all the fires and the alleged evacuations and everything else. Listen to this report.
A joint press conference since August 29th, and KITV4's Jeremy Lee joins us live from West Maui. And Jeremy, you have more on those unanswered questions that remain 7 weeks later.
Yeah, 7 weeks later. 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 7 We have asked who is responsible for issuing an emergency evacuation order that would usher the public out of Lahaina town before fire overtook Front Street. Those emergency powers were used before the morning fire was contained on August 8th, but no public official has confirmed if those powers were used in the afternoon. Take a look. Hawaii Revised Statute 127A13B4 reads, in the event of a local state of emergency declared by the mayor may direct and control the mandatory evacuation of civilian population. In other words, it's the mayor who makes the call.
That's right. I'm not sure who was in charge. I think Herman Aveyah was still in charge. He just wasn't present. He was in contact with his team, I guess by phone.
In those 4 August press conferences, nobody from the county ever stepped forward to say who was responsible for that communication failure that trapped people in Lahaina town. In the 4 August press conferences, county officials would not detail communication failures in the afternoon of August 8th. What kind of communication in the key hours of 3 p.m. and 4 p.m. was ongoing between command and control of police and fire, that being whoever was in your stead at that time?
So we share the same dispatch center, both police and fire here. So all of our information goes to the same location so that it can be quickly sent out to the other organization.
But was that information sent out between 3 and 5:30 p.m. on August 8th? At the previous press conference, I asked what time did police and fire convene in the Emergency Operations Center on the ground floor of the county building?
I can't talk about the EOC on some of that. I'm just going to talk about police ops, if you don't mind. Police and fire communicate. They communicate very well together. We did not close or forbid people from getting out of Lahaina. If there is a down power line, we don't want that was live. We want to make sure that you didn't go over a downed live power line.
But documentation of at least a half dozen roadblocks indicate police were unaware of Hawaiian Electric's claim that power lines were de-energized by morning, or of an evacuation order, which the mayor claimed was given.
Yes, mandatory evacuations did take place on the west side, certainly for Lahaina.
But could not answer the follow-up. But when was the afternoon? The second evacuation order?
I don't know what time that was.
Well, thank you all for your time.
But you gave it.
So we have 100.
But you gave it? The county Facebook only posts at 10:07 p.m. that evacuation orders were in effect as of 9:45 at night. In fact, elected officials have constantly referred to emergency operations for Lahaina happening at night.
The Emergency Operations Center was in full activation that night.
Our radios did not fail, and so we had constant radio communication that night.
But this was an afternoon fire. The fire started at 3 p.m.
Had we sounded the siren that night, we're afraid that people would have gone malka.
Evacuees fled to the water by 5:33. Emergency operations did occur at night, as seen in this video of Wahikuli evacuations at 9:22 p.m., hours after Front Street burned. Mayor Richard Bisson and the county Facebook page both announced at 5:20 p.m. on August 8th, quote, access in and out of Lahaina is now possible via Hokiokio Place, indicating that as of 5:20 p.m., traffic was still incoming to Lahaina. Lanes had not been contraflowed to support an emergency evacuation. Reporting from Lahaina, Jeremy Lee, KITV4 Island News.
Okay, that's what is happening now. It doesn't matter anymore
see
whether
this black box
Bisson.
right here? Well, I'm going to show you something right now.
It doesn't matter
Some
whether
people are
Bisson
concerned
wants
that
to
they might have
admit
to
it
go
or
for
not.
a long period of time without
Bisson
power or
is
electricity.
in charge.
That's why Fort Patriots
Bisson
is blowing up.
responsible for what happened. Bisson is responsible for what happened, regardless of whether he wants to have it or not. He is responsible, and there is no one else that's responsible. Bisson has to take responsibility. End of discussion. All of a sudden, we've come down to brass tacks. The statute says the mayor was in charge. The mayor did not take charge. We heard and saw the first press conference after the fire started. He goes, I don't know who's in charge. Guess what? The revised statute of Hawaii says the mayor was in charge. So he's going to go down for the deaths of many hundreds, if not thousands of people. And we discussed that earlier this morning. Thousands of people have died. And I'm still asking the question, Where are the children? Where are the children? 2,400 children gone. Gone. What the hell's going on, guys? What the hell's going on? Poet's Dream just gave us a $10 super chat. Thank you so much for that. We appreciate that so very much. God bless you for that. Guys, Dave and Barry, you guys have had fires over in Canada. Some of those fires have also killed Canadian firefighters. I have several times during the past few months of those fires been so very worried that those fires were going to kill people, and they did. Barry and Dave, are you still here? I think we've lost Barry.
Yeah.
Oh, we're here.
Still
Good.
here.
Good.
Yeah,
Guys,
still here.
what do you think about the Canadian wildfires and the number of Canadian firefighters have been killed?
I think that's all lays on the government. Because Trudeau, realistically, he says there's not enough money, but he can send billions overseas.
Yeah. 4 Canadian firefighter troops, wildfire troops, have been killed yesterday morning in BC. Highway 1 in BC, according to the Mounties. 4 people killed. 4 wildfire service subcontractors traveling home from assisting fire suppression efforts. Incredible. Incredible.
Huh. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
How you doing there, Ron? Sorry, I was having a little bit of technical difficulty over here, but that's normal for me. I have I know how to turn a computer on, and then I'm lost after that.
I'm sorry. Anyway, 4 Canadian wildfire people were killed yesterday morning, driving home after fighting wildfire for a week. It's just sad. It's just sad.
Well,
and the wildfires continue.
Yeah, there's a lot of fires going on this year, and I'll bet you 50% of them have been arson or more. You know, the end game, of course, Ron, is to drive us out of the country, out of the wilderness and into the cities.
Yeah.
And we're more and more fires all the time. And you tell me they're not set, you'd have to have your head in the ground. We're seeing it both at right now. But it's all part of a big agenda. We know that.
Yep. And killing off the animals. That's all part of it, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, you know what? Their agenda really counts on us becoming more and more dependent on big cities for our existence on the planet. Of course, they want to herd us all into big cities, so we're easy to control. We'll all have our little cubicles, and we'll all get our fixed income, and we'll all be good citizens and shut up and do nothing and just obey. And that's where they're taking us. They're trying to drive us out of the country, and they're doing that by burning a lot of it. They're also coming up with all kinds of scams to keep people out of the backcountry. Up here, the latest thing is to protect wildlife. In one sector, they're going to close down, thousands of miles of, or thousands of square miles of accessible backcountry to people in Canada that we've used for eons. They're trying to tell us that they got to protect the wildlife that are existing in these areas, and we're not allowed to go and use it anymore.
Yeah.
This is the stuff that help us.
Yep. They're doing that here, too.
Yeah, well, it's all part of that agenda, Jay. They want us out of the country. They don't want us to be in the bush. They don't want anything to do with self-sufficiency. They don't want anything to do with people actually being going out and enjoying themselves, enjoying life. They want us to live in house. They want us to live all in big cities. Yeah, everywhere I go now in Terrace here, Ron, the only thing I see being built right now is tons and tons of, all of a sudden, the last year and a half, all kinds of apartment buildings going up all over town. I've never seen anything like this before. They're all multi-unit, 60, 70 unit apartment buildings, very, very small units, and they're building lots of them all of a sudden. No houses, all these apartments are going up in terraces. Like every corner's got an apartment going up. I'm not exaggerating. So what's going on?
How big is
Yeah, that's not for me.
How big is the town of Terrace?
There's about, if you take in Terrace and Thornhill, which is the two, Thornhill's a separate entity, but they kind of real close together. If you put the two together, we're about, I think, around 18,000 people
Wow.
total. So there's not a lot of people up here.
And they're rapidly building apartment buildings.
Like crazy, Ron. Everywhere. So
15-minute cities.
Well, they're not doing this for. There's an agenda being played out. Of course, they know what the plan is. They're looking 2-3 years down the road what they're going to need to have to implement their plans on society, and setting it up. You can see it. Like I said, I've never seen anything like this in Paris. I've been here for many years, and all of a sudden, all I see for construction is multi-unit apartment buildings.
Wow.
So something's not right in Denmark. Let's just finish right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah.
What is going on with the Million Man March in regards to? I heard a lot of people are protesting it, and there's going to probably be a lot of police arrests. I'm hearing a lot of stuff here.
There wasn't a lot of that today. There was one incident in Ottawa where a lady was really badly manhandled by the police, and of course that brought up the ire of people that witnessed it. Dave, talk about that for a minute.
Yeah. Well, what the officer tried to do was take the phone, knock the phone out of the older lady's face, because she had it up in her face trying to get all the stuff that was going on. He took a swipe at it. The cop took a swipe at it, and he missed it. So he went to grab her by the throat, and some of the guys that were there jumped in. Well, then a bunch of cops jumped in. The guys got arrested.
Yeah.
Provoking, Dave.
Yeah.
Absolutely provoking. The same thing happened. We had a little demonstration in Terrace here today, and there was a group of counter protesters. And what they do, after a little while, they came over and they started getting closer and closer to us. They started singing their songs and all kinds of distractions and yelling at us. Just unbelievable. And they were provoking it. They were absolutely trying to provoke a response from it. So what do? We all jointly turned our backs. Period.
Yep.
And after about 10 minutes, they went away. But they relentlessly tried to provoke us for about 10 minutes.
Well, what makes it even worse is the unions were talking about this stuff yesterday and the day before about what they were going to do. They were going to go and oppose the people that were against the drag queen story time, or whatever they want to call it.
Yeah.
The pedophilia, really. And the union, when the guy was talking, or the lady was talking to their people, the union people, they called them comrades. Well, there's nothing more communist than that.
Yeah, I agree.
And how can our unions support this stuff? I mean, these people have children. What's going on with these people? Do they hate kids or what?
They've been approached and told what the agenda is, and they signed on, Dave.
Well, Jagmeet Singh was there. Jagmeet Singh was there with them at the protest in Ottawa.
Yeah.
With the counter protesters you're talking about.
Yeah, the counter protesters with Jagmeet Singh. They're the ones that went in and went up against the protesters. And it was the unions that were going up against the protesters. And nobody went after the union people when they were grabbing stuff. Only the people that were protesting the drag queen stuff.
Jagmeet Singh, I know we're talking to a lot of Americans right now, Dave. A lot of people down there don't know exactly who Jagmeet Singh is, but he is the leader, the so-called leader of the NDP party here in Canada. The man has undeniable, unreputable ties to the Khalistani terrorists that were directly involved in the Aryan Bloc in 1982. His connections to that group I want to make sure I got my date right. I think it was 92. But anyways, regardless, the Air Indian bombing, he has undeniable, unreputable ties to the people that were directly involved in that bombing. Relatives living on Vancouver Island in a little town called Duncan. He's been tied directly to that. He's not allowed Here he is leading a political party. Get a load of this, you American listeners. He's leading a political party in Canada here, and he's not allowed to go back to India. If he walked into India today, Ron, he would be arrested for terrorism.
Yeah.
He's running the NDP party in Canada, which of course now have formed a coalition with the Liberal Party, giving them a majority vote in our parliament. Means they can basically do anything they want to us poor Canadians, and we have no legal recourse. We're not set up like the United States of America.
Nope.
When a person is elected in Canada and they get a majority, it's basically giving them full-blown dictatorship powers until the next election or selection.
Yeah.
That's what we're dealing with right now in Canada. Our country is absolutely being run right into the ground. I wish that Donald Trump was president right now, because I'd send him a message and ask him to please come up to Canada here and do something about this Justin Trudeau. I can't use the words that I want to use right now.
Yeah, I hear you.
Man, well, anybody that's really not paying attention down there to what this guy's doing to our country, he is the worst of the worst of the worst of any kind of individual that I've ever met in my life, period. And I'm talking about Hitler. This guy is beyond that. He is he's the most evil thing that ever walked the face of the earth, Ron, and he's destroying our country.
Has he made it back to Canada yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, he made it back. The
He's trying to start a war with India.
Oh, did you guys, I don't know if you down there got to see the clip that came from India, from the member of the Indian Parliament, Ron, that got on the live, got on national TV over there, and 3 networks carried the same story, but
9-minute rant.
It was a he that I was talking. He literally ripped huge, massive strips of a Justin Trudeau for about 8 minutes and
It was 9 minutes long.
Yeah, it was the most incredible. I was just sitting here listening to it, and wow, I'm telling you, it was the best thing I've heard this year, Ron, bar none.
Wow.
He absolutely told the whole world just who this guy is and held nothing back. And boy, I'll tell you, a lot of people, eyebrows were raising. Canada, now we're the joke of the world. We're laughing more than Joe Biden. And your president, man, I can't believe that guy's sitting in the office of the president. I mean, it's a joke, Ron. This whole thing's a joke.
Is.
It has to be. I think, are we in a big comedy show? Is that what this is?
Yeah.
It ain't funny.
The Communist Democrats here are hoping Biden will die in office so the Communist Democrats will get sympathy votes to keep the Democrats in power. That is their only hope, that he will die in office, and then the Democrats can somehow pull off another win next year, getting sympathy vote. Because right now, Donald Trump is 53 points ahead of Biden, and no one else is even close to Donald Trump. So Donald Trump will win the ballot. Then, guess what happened yesterday in California? Actually, Monday and Tuesday in California. The California state legislature is trying to take Trump off the ballot. They're scared of Trump. California is trying to take him off the ballot.
How can they do that? How can they do that, Ron?
I don't know.
Well, it certainly isn't a legal way.
No.
Everything they're doing so far is totally illegal, but they seem to be getting by with it.
Yeah. Yeah. If they don't like you, you can't be there. That's basically what they're saying.
Yeah.
And Trudeau and his people are saying the same thing in Canada. Oh, we don't like you. You can't do what you want to do because we don't like you.
Yeah.
The same thing. The exact same thing. It's terrible. The conditions, well, I've only been told, the two of you have told me things going on in Canada. One of the group members here, the EMA family, Catherine Sigerson, lives, I believe, in Manitoba, and she's been telling us some things, as well as a couple others, but living conditions are getting bad all over Canada because of what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, here's one of the things that they want us to do. Anybody in Canada who has empty rooms in their house, empty bedrooms in their house. What they want to do is take some of the homeless people or the immigrants and let them live in our, and the government is going to collect the rent from these people. Well, that's nice, but when do I get something out of this deal if I even considered it?
Yeah.
And realistically, I could do it.
They're trying
My
to do the
house is
same
a
thing here
5-bedroom,
too.
could be a 6-bedroom.
They're trying to do the same thing here in the United States, making sure that those homeless people, those illegal immigrants, and I'm not gonna call them immigrants. I'm gonna call them illegal immigrants, because that's exactly what they are. They did not come into this country legally.
Well, how about invaders? Why don't we use the proper term?
Yeah.
Invaders. Yeah, it's an invasion.
Yeah.
You don't have immigration in our country. We don't have immigration here. We're getting almost 1 million people a year coming into Canada. And you know what, Ron? 85% of the immigration in Canada last year came from 2 demographics in the world. 85% of it came from India and China. 85% of our legal immigration, that's just illegal. Not talking about the stuff that are crossing at the border. We have 6,000 miles of unprotected border with the United States of America. Anybody that wants to walk into Canada from the U.S., they can do that anytime they want at hundreds and hundreds of accessible points in the country where you can walk in without any problem.
And yet, if I try to walk in, if I was going to walk in to come visit you guys, I, 1, have to have a valid passport. 2, I'd have to come at a time when Canada deems it necessary or allows me to come in, because they don't want too many of us visitors in. That's what I was told.
Yeah.
That's what I was told.
Yeah. And you pretty much need a rectal exam to come into the country or for us to go anywhere. It's just insane. You know, why? Why can't it be like it was when I was a kid? Or when Barry was a kid, we could walk across the border. All we needed maximum really was 1 piece of ID, that's it. And we could go and walk across the border.
Yeah.
Now if you do it, you're a bad guy if you're an American or a Canadian.
Yeah.
But if you're an immigrant, well, it's okay. You know, it's all wonderful. No jabs, no nothing. Don't have to wear masks, nothing. Nobody does anything. Nobody checks them for anything. All the criminals, the gang members, they all come in. The child predators, they all come in. The traffickers, I mean, come on.
What do you think people would want to do, Ron, if they were crossing illegally into the United States of America, and they've heard Justin Trudeau, and they've got relatives that already established themselves in Canada, and they hear about all the quirks and everything you get when you walk into Canada as an illegal, not legally coming into the country. You can walk into Canada illegally and have access to all our health, our welfare, our social services immediately, no questions asked.
Yeah.
You can walk in and get a check from our social services for your family immediately. If you have 6 children with you, within 10 days you'll have a check for $600 per child times 6 children. That's $3,600 the first 2 weeks you're in Canada, and you walk into the country illegally. Who in their right mind would not want to come to this country? That's what this government's doing really.
Yeah.
Our systems will collapse real soon, Ron. We're not going to be able to sustain this kind of BS for much longer in this country.
They're doing the same thing here with the illegals that are coming here. California, the state of California is paying the illegal immigrants, each person, get this, $300 a week. They're paying them $300 a week, each individual person. Unreal.
It is. It really is. And you know what makes everything worse is the fact that these ones that are criminals and that, they're coming across, and before they cross the border, they're tossing any ID or anything that can actually identify them and going by another name.
Yeah, they're going by
an
another
alien
name. And a lot of these people that are coming in illegally are criminals from other countries.
Correct. They're opening the door to the prisons and letting them come across. Say, hey, go up, go north.
Absolutely. It's what the plan is. They want to bring in criminals, so they create chaos in our society. Look what's going on in our big cities in Canada here, Ron. I mean, you've got the same problems down there, but our cities now in Canada, crime is just up, astronomical numbers. Murders up. Everything is up. a lot of knife crimes in Toronto, man. Toronto was a great city when I grew up there. Well, it was a
Yeah,
great
it was.
city. It was a great city to raise to grow up in. I never had problems. I had so many good memories of Toronto as a child. And now I look at that city and I go, holy smokes, Batman! I wouldn't want to live there if you paid me. You're not safe in Toronto. You're not safe in any big city anymore. And it's if you talk about things wrong, what I find really tough to deal with now is that if I talk about certain denominations, I'm immediately tagged as being racist, Islamophobic, bigoted, whatever narrative you want to add to me, white supremacist, whatever you want to call me. I'm immediately labeled about talking something that is very, very obvious, stuff that we can see and actually experience right now in our society. We see it. We're being invaded. We literally have buses, like literally, I'm not kidding you guys. It seems to be like there's a busload of new ones showing up in my town every day. All kinds of new faces, but they're all coming from one denomination in the world. Why is that? Why is that? What's going on there, Ron? Well, we know what's going on. We know there's an agenda being played out. We know they have an end game plan, and that's why I honestly believe. And if I talk like this, of course, I'm a racist, but I'm not. But if I talk like this, I'm labeled as a racist. But it's very obvious what's going on. That there's an invasion going on in our country. What else would you call it? If it's one denomination, mostly one denomination that we see coming into the country and are being allowed into the country with open arms.
But they have a back door too. They're allowing some to come through back door. These are the real shady people. And the reality is that when are we going to stop this? I'm not against immigration. I am pro-immigration. But what I'm also pro is I'm pro vetting people. If we're going to let people in that want to come here for a better life and help us to make this country better, I'm all for it. But when you have people coming in and saying that, well, we want it to be more like our country, so change your laws, I draw the line. And I'm sorry, call me what you will, but that's the way it is.
It's unreal.
Yeah, and of course the government disguises as accommodating everybody's rights. Right? You hear that from them all the time. We got to accommodate their rights. No, don't. You come to my country, you adapt to my culture, you learn my language, and that's what makes a country a country.
Right.
What's happening, our core identity is being destroyed. We barely have a culture left now. We still have it, but it's being taken away at light speed. Well, anytime you destroy a culture in a country, you destroy that country. Multiculturalism, not a good thing.
And what's
made Canada what it was, made America what it was.
What's their answer to the housing crisis, Barry? Their answer is to bring more people in. We have a shortage of houses, and their answer is to bring more people in. Well, that makes absolutely no sense.
Exactly. Where's the? There should be a complete freeze on it until we catch up with the people that aren't living in houses right now. Why aren't we doing that instead of adding another million every year? They're creating a huge problem, Ron. They know exactly what they're doing. Boy, I tell you, I've said this on shows many times, guys. If you really want to kind of get a good idea of what's going on in the world today, I highly recommend you take the time to sit down and read the Communist Manifesto, because it's page for page, paragraph for paragraph, exactly what's going on right now in Canada and the United States of America.
Right.
It's like in
Communist
the U.S., but it's the same agenda being played out. One's got a little bit of lip, the other one doesn't. But it is the exact same agenda. Another book that I recommend, I've only read a couple books in my life, to be honest, Ron, but is The Rules for Radicals by Sal Zelensky. He was Hillary Clinton's mentor. He said that probably 25, 30 times in her life, that her mentor was Sal Zelensky. And he is, of course, reputed to be the most evil man to ever walk the face of the earth, bar none. And that was Hillary Clinton's mentor. So you wonder why we are in the situation we are right now.
Edward G. Griffin, Florida State University speech, 1969. That's something that people in the state should look at, because exactly what he was saying is what's going on now.
We have invaders coming in. Most of those invaders are between age 18 and 40. Those people that are coming in are mostly men. Number three, Those people are military age. That's why they're coming in. That's why they're coming in, to destroy our country from within. Okay? They're coming into areas where they're right near the U.S. and Canadian military bases. They're going to have access to weapons. They're going to have access to us to take us out. They know what they're doing. The CCP in Canada came in about 2 years ago. Started about 2 years ago, maybe longer than that. The same thing here in the United States. More and more people from China are coming in as well, and they're all military age boys and men. Every one of them. Every one of them. I've seen the IDs that the sheriff and the police pick up at the border. It's incredible. It's totally incredible.
People have to understand their ideology, Ron. If you don't understand the ideology of some of these people that are coming into our country, you'll never realize or never be able to understand the danger they represent to our way of life. They have no interest at all in assimilating to our culture or our way of life. Actually, most of them are coming from countries that hate us, because somewhere in the past we've maybe gone over there and killed one of their relatives. You know, I mean, America's been involved in lots of wars in the Mideast. There's all kinds of atrocities been perpetrated by all kinds of different people. We don't want to get into that kind of a conversation, but somewhere down the line, maybe one of these people was affected by one of those actions, and now they're back in your country. What do you think they want to do, Ron? They love you. We know that you know. If I haven't read the full Quran, Ron, but I read a lot of it, and I understand their ideology, and it will never ever be conducive to our ideology.
No, never.
We were formed on Judeo values in North America, whether you like that or not. That is the truth. That's what made Canada and the United States the nations they were. I won't say are right now because we've lost a lot of that, but made them the nations they were. And now we look at where we are. We're just falling apart as civilized societies.
One of the people in our family in the chat is asking, ask Barry and Dave, how many sleeper cells do we have here in Canada?
Lots.
Oh, there's a boatload. There's terrorist training camps in Canada.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they're in the U.S. too.
Yeah, they're here too, all over.
Well, let's put it this way. If the government had a plan, say they had a plan, they were going to attack their own people down the road, maybe you're using one demographic in the world to carry out that plan. Say they had a plan like that. You don't think that they would be supporting those people inside this country, allowing them to bring in toys and little tools that we have no way of getting access to, i.e. all kinds of weapons that only military could provide to people. You don't think they're providing to people, because there's going to come a time. If you read the Quran, Ron, they talk about Qateen. They also talk about the word jihad.
Yeah.
And I believe, honestly, that might come a time that word is issued, and there will be literally millions of them rise against us.
Yeah.
And what is our government? What is our government teaching us? Our government is teaching Canadians to love them and hug them and squeeze them and call them George. Well, the problem is that they don't think that way. They think the exact opposite. And loving us is not the first thing they want to do.
But they'll give you the charade of loving you, Dave. That's
correct.
There you go.
It's called Qateen.
Yeah.
And if you look it up and what it means to them, they believe that they're going to be rewarded in heaven for deceiving the infidels, and we are the infidels.
Yeah.
So by deceiving us, they're getting brownie points for whatever it is they figure they're going when they leave this earth. You've got to understand their ideology. It in no way, shape, or form is conducive to what Judeo-Christian values are and what we're established in our societies now. That's completely under attack by, like I said, a barbaric culture, 17th century. They were stopped at the gates of Rome. They almost conquered the world, folks. And they were only stopped at the gates of Rome. And if that hadn't happened, we'd all be bowing right now to Muhammad. And that's not in my book. But that's the truth.
Look at even the ones that did come over because they wanted to get away from that are protesting them coming here. Why?
Yeah, 'cause
Because
it's-
they don't want it to become the way it was there.
Exactly.
And you know what they're being called? They're being called racist and white supremacists. Well, that logic doesn't work with me either. But that's what they want to believe. That's what our government wants us to believe, that we're racist if we think that way. Well, I'm sorry, but I'm going to question things. I just do.
You know, Glenn Beck taught me one thing a long, long time ago, many years ago. Glenn Beck taught me to question boldly. Question boldly with a capital B. You don't just let it happen. None of us can just let it happen. We can't. If we let it happen, our countries are going to be overrun. And I honestly think our countries will be overrun within the next 9 months.
I think it's a very good possibility. And that's why people need to wake up. People need to start researching stuff. Start going down the rabbit holes. And then once you start going down rabbit holes, you'll find millions more.
Yeah.
They're all over.
I swear, guys. That's why I'm so adamant. And I get upset when I hear our country getting attacked by someone else that has no clue. And our country's going down the proverbial toilet. We're being overrun by these dirtbags. And I'm not going to let it happen. Sorry. Ain't going to let it happen. And there's millions more people like you and I. You know, I'm going to stand up and say, no way.
Yep. Well, today was a good sign of the amount of people that are actually waking up to what's going on. I mean, I think it was a really good turnout. It was similar to the truck convoy, but it was all over.
Wow.
I mean, every city, every town basically had it.
Has Doug Ford not backed off on the soldier programs in Ontario now, Dave?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
I haven't heard any more, but not that I know of.
Huh. Well, people are definitely waking up, but in the same mouthful, I ask myself every day, why aren't the whole population, why are some parents even thinking about allowing this to go on? And I don't understand it at all. I really don't. And I don't understand how people can be okay with their children being sexualized.
No
That's
way.
exactly what's happening. In Ontario now, Ron, you can go to a public school in Ontario and go to the library in that school, and you can be 9 years old, and you can open up a book, and that book will have images of 2 9-year-olds doing every possible sex act, thinkable and imaginable, in front of these children at that age. And
That's why I get so pissed off about that.
Is that beyond, you know, I never thought in my lifetime, Ron, that I would ever see something like that. I just can't fathom how that is allowed to go on. That is called child pornography.
It is.
But it's allowed to go on for the guise of inclusivity in our school systems. Our schools are being run by a very, very small group of people, but they are people that come from the pits of hell, Ron. That's where they came from. One day they're going back there, guaranteed.
Yeah.
Unless
Oh,
they
that's
take
going to
it.
happen. Absolutely, it's going to happen. But when? When is it going to happen? When it's too
We
late?
don't have that answer, Ron.
What?
We don't. That's in God's hands, man. He's the one that's got the timetable. He's got it's all laid. It's all laid out right now in stone. Everything that's going to happen here in the next 10, 20, 30 years is all written in stone right now. And it'll play out exactly the way he knows it's going to play out. But we don't know that. All we can do is go by what we're being told right now, what we see going on. We're definitely in a crazy time, man. I mean, right now, I look at the world events, and I'm not an expert on Revelations, but I read a lot of it, and I understand most of the prophecies wrote, and ones that have been wrote over thousands of years, and what's happening right now in our world. Well, to say that we're not at some point right now in that timetable, we can't pinpoint exactly where we are, but to say that we're not in that, I think you'd have to have your business then. You see all kinds of things coming true right now that Revelations has talked about, and like so we don't have a timetable, but I know that the Bible talks about the Antichrist in great detail. I believe that will happen, that we will see a one world ruler, and when we get to that point, we're close to the end, Ron. That's just my thoughts.
I'm not for rulers. I'd rather have a yardstick.
I wish I had a yardstick.
We are definitely seeing some crazy stuff going on right now.
I want a
I'm an
great
old
big
Canadian.
huge stick. I want a ball bat.
In Libya, just had some of the worst floods I think they've ever seen. Was it Libya, Ron?
Yes, Libya.
It just basically were wiped out.
Yeah.
Whole parts of cities were wiped out by water.
Well, if you think about it, we look at Libya, and it's like a great big huge desert. When these huge cyclones and monsoonal storms come in, all of a sudden that desert turns into a huge ocean, and it wipes people out. The storm surge wipes people out. Thousands of people.
And then that water
Yeah.
creates green. Once it all subsides, you get green for a while, then it goes back to desert.
Yeah.
See, the things that really annoy me are the fact that with these people who want to support the nonsense that's going on in the schools, these people have to realize that either you're going to stand up for your children, pull them out of school, and teach them at home, homeschool them, or find another alternative. Get a bunch of people together, pay one decent teacher to teach your kids, or stop standing on your knees and complying and get up and fight with us to oppose this stuff. Because the only way this stuff's going to stop is by doing that.
And Dave, you hit the nail on the head. The only way it's going to stop is by us saying no more. No more. We're not going to allow it. Period.
Yeah. And with the flooding, I mean, we've got flooding all over the world. Flooding, and we've got droughts. I mean, people have to start realizing that this directly affects our food chain.
Yes.
And these people that think, well, you know, if I run out of food, I'll just run down to the store, they're nuts, because there's going to be a time when there's no food there, and there's nothing to help replenish it. So it's time to worry. Stock up on whatever you can now, because there will be a time when you can't get anything.
Another food distribution point here in the United States burned down to the ground the other day. Huge warehouse gone.
Yep.
That makes about 100 warehouses in the past 4 years.
Well, how come nobody's burned down these cricket farms?
Yeah, really. I wish.
Oh, you gotta have the crickets, man. That's what they're gonna feed us.
I was buying
Yes, they are they?
About 2 weeks
ago. Hey, but I got
ago.
ahead of that one, Ron. I figured if they're gonna feed us crickets, I've already applied for my patent for chocolate-covered crickets, guys. So I'll have the first one on the market. Come and see my website.
No, not me. I'll be foraging in the woods.
Yeah, me too. I'm not going to do it. The other day, it was about 2 weeks ago, I was in the store trying to buy some soup, and I saw on the label, I watch labels all the time now. On the label, GMO. GMO. None of it's non-GMO, it's all GMO. It's all engineered, geo-engineered. I did see crickets on a food package. I don't remember which package it was. It may contain crickets.
Yeah, there's words that they're using now, and you can get these on the internet, guys, that tell you what products are actually containing insects now.
Yeah.
So there's quite a few of them on the market that actually contain insects. They're putting it in there, and they're not letting people know. So,
fancy words.
You need to know which words identify insects of any kind and avoid them, of course. Like
all these supermarkets here in North Carolina is carrying food with crickets in it.
Yeah.
Aldi, ALDI, is carrying food with crickets in it. I'm not going in there.
Wow.
Yeah. And if you hear that squeaking in the middle of the night, I think you've been eating crickets.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, squeaking in the middle of the night.
Well, us old guys, we're used to that because that's our joints doing that, but still.
Oh,
Knees crack.
unreal. Unreal. I feel
Well,
for everybody. It's not
you gotta
it's not
laugh.
just me or you, two of you. It's everybody. Everybody's enduring this. You know, they wanted the wildfires. They start wildfires. They throw smoke everywhere, and it's irritating people's lungs, killing people. And now they're trying to bring in the new jibby jab because
Yep.
we can't have another season go by without some jibby jab going on because heaven forbid the new variant's coming out, it's going to be worse. Bull crap.
Yep.
Bull crap.
That's why I tell people the best thing for you to do is get a bunch of like-minded people together who garden and do whatever. I mean, each person has different things growing, and combine what you have, all of your food, and you have a better chance of survival.
Yeah.
Plus, you can run in a parallel to the society, the way society wants to go, or the governments want us to go. And, one guy might be good with working with wood. One guy might be good with working with steel, and so on and so forth. So you can, within your little community, you have the ability to do different things, to have things done, to barter, basically.
Yeah.
And you don't need this system.
You know what they're trying to do here in the U.S.? Anti-barter. They don't want anybody doing that. They want complete control.
Yep. Well, that's why they want to get rid of the dollar.
Yeah.
Because they want digital currency so that you can't work under the table, you can't make extra money, you get what they give you, and that's it. And if you don't like it, well, that's nice. You oppose it, and then they're going to cut down on what you get.
Yeah.
Until you comply.
Ron and Dave, if they get digital currency in place, you can kiss it all goodbye, folks.
Yeah.
Period.
Yep.
This is not a joke. This is not a joke at all. This is one of the biggest fights that we all have to get involved with, because if they get digital in place, they will have complete control over your life. Do you want maniacs like this having complete control over your life? You got to ask yourself that question, because we know that they're going to go on us. They're going to turn on us.
Yeah.
I mean, look what Trudeau did in Canada here, Ron. People were peacefully demonstrating, speaking their rights, speaking their voices in Canada. There was no violence. It was, the government in Canada here portrayed that demonstration as being violent. Well, Fox Network out of the States covered it extensively. They were up here and had reporters on the ground. And you know what? Not one incident of violence was reported by Fox News. And they watched the whole thing go down. So it was portrayed as violent. They brought in horses, stomped on Canadian people, froze Canadian bank accounts simply for doing what we have a right to do in this country. But if you oppose the government, this government, that's what they did to the Canadian citizens. And of course, it's a fear mechanism. I mean, now people are scared poopless to oppose the government because they've seen what they did. They had their bank accounts frozen. Now they've got their bank accounts unfrozen. You think they want to oppose the government again? I mean, created havoc in so many people's lives, and now they want to bring in digital currency where they can flip a switch and bring you under complete control. You won't be able to go to a store and buy yourself a loaf of bread unless you comply with what they're telling you to do.
Yeah, and look at what they're doing in a lot of these stores now, Barry.
Well, I know they're already pushing that, Dave, because they're being instructed to condition the public for the upcoming push.
Well, but they're getting rid of all the cashiers, and then they have one person standing there that's going to teach you how to operate this other system. And if you tell them you don't know how to do it, well, they'll show you. What's the difference between them walking to that machine or a cash register?
Exactly.
So, everything is being done to condition society. Everything that has happened to us, maybe this sounds crazy, but it's not. Everything that's been done to us over the last 10, 15 years is to condition the human mind to get ready for what's coming. Because the plan's been for decades. The plan's been in place. You just can't turn societies upside down overnight. So what they've done, they slowly but surely over the years made little changes here, little changes there that really by themselves don't mean anything, but all of a sudden that little inch has turned into a mile.
Yeah.
And now, holy smoke, they're just running. They're going lopsided on us, Ron. In Canada, we're losing this country right now, and people still
In a hurry.
Yeah.
Ron.
It's insane.
Well, it is. And unfortunately, not enough people are waking up to this reality where things are at. I mean, it's as if they, like Barry was saying, the magic mushrooms. It seems like the world has got their head stuck in their butt and they just don't want to see what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't want to wake up. You know, we talk this thing of the woke people. You know, these idiots, mostly teenagers and young adults that think that they know everything, and they don't. They don't know half of what we know. And yet they want to run the world. They want to tell us how to do it. Those woke individuals don't have a clue. None of them. And yes,
You're right.
There are even older adults that are woke as well. They're bad. They're bad. All these dirtbags that we have in Washington, D.C., and over in Toronto and other places, all these dirtbags have one agenda, and that's to get rid of all of us so they can rule over themselves and do what they darn well please.
They've been propagandized and lied to for so many years that they believe that communism is this great thing.
Yeah.
But when they're in it, I guarantee you they're going to change their attitude.
Yeah.
Hey, this isn't what we were told. And at that point, it's too late. The reality of the whole deal is that you can vote your way into communism, but you have to fight your way out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it in a nutshell. That's the best description I've heard, is you can walk your way in, but you're going to have to fight your way out. And that's what we're in right now. I think our countries, North America is one great big huge communist country, whether we want to admit it or not. And now we're going to have to fight our way out.
Yeah. And that's why they want to take the guns away from everybody, because you know how every other communist country has been, well, and Germany, of course, they took the guns away from people because they were going to make the country better. And what happened?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to let that happen. I'm going down with a fight. It's simple. I will defend what I believe in. It's that simple.
You know what I think? I don't think it matters if you have a gun or not. You know why I say that?
No,
because
it doesn't.
Well, here, we got to remember that their technology, Dave, is 15 to 20 years ahead of what we know right now. Now, we look at what they have right now with directed energy, with lasers, with hologram technology, with all the other different things, phased array technology. They have toys put away right now that I honestly believe this, and I've said this many times on my show, that guns might become obsolete. They might have something, and I honestly believe they do have something put away in their little toolbox, because they've planned everything that's happening in our world. I honestly, it's planned, pre-planned. They know how society is going to react. And if they it gets to the point where they want to bring the hammer down on society, they know society is going to rebel. The United States has more guns you can shake a stick at. But what if they had a toy put away that made those guns completely obsolete and you had no defense against? And we say, well, is that possible? Well, then we ask ourselves again, they have technology that's 15 to 20 years ahead of what we see now.
Or 30 or 50.
You think about how fast technology is growing. It's pretty scary what they actually could have 15 years down the road from now that, like I said, would make your guns completely obsolete. I believe that's a possibility. I believe right now we still have an opportunity to beat these people legally without getting into war. But we all have to stand. It would take people willing to stand up and hear their voices, have their voices heard at this point to turn this thing around. But unfortunately, a sector of society just sits back and is more worried about who the Toronto Police signed or who's playing for the Chicago Bulls this year or blah, 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 than they are what's happening in the country.
Yeah.
But see, that's why I say, Barry, that for me, regardless of what happens, if they come to me and say it's comply or die, I may die, but I'm going to die with my finger up because there's no way that they're going to get away with it. They won't win. They might kill me, but they won't win.
The Bible tells us we're going to win in the end, guys. Read the Bible. The Bible tells us about what we're going to go through, but it also talks about the time when this is all over, when Jesus Christ is going to return. He's going to rule this world. And then we look at, I say to myself, I look at what we're doing to the planet, right? All the pollution, nuclear waste. We look at every aspect of what we've done to this great creation. We're killing the biosphere on the planet. The planet's in trouble. Our oceans are in trouble. The whole planet's in trouble. Well, to me, God is all powerful.
Yeah.
And I believe that one day he's going to come back here and he's going to snap his fingers, and everything that we've ever done detrimental to this planet will be erased in the blink of an eye. And what will we have, Ron? I think we'd have heaven, wouldn't we?
I think so,
Yeah, and
What would be better than this world before we started destroying it? And we have destroyed it. It's our complacency and what we've allowed to go on with the Industrial Revolution, with plastics and oil and everything else. We've done so much damage with nuclear waste, et cetera, et cetera. We've done so much damage to the planet that it's going to get to a point where the biosphere, I believe, will not support life on this planet in the future. But I believe God can fix that in the blink of an eye. And I think
why do you think they're putting all this garbage in us with these so-called vaxes, which is basically the jab of poison?
Yeah.
More and more people now are coming out and saying, hey, look, in the next few years, and it's doctors and everything, the next few years, we're going to have a massive die-off.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're seeing now. The excess numbers. Look at the excess number reports coming out of countries now. The excess death. They're doubling.
Yeah.
We just have to get
that's
up and
why I
stand
say,
together.
Yeah,
Well,
we
Pfizer came out and said they've had up to 5 million adverse effects reported now. That's right from Pfizer. 5 million. And they're still selling this stuff, and they're still pumping it. I mean, what do we need? Do we need a vaccine for stupidity, Ron?
Yeah, they have one.
I think they got one, and there's too many people that got it.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Unreal.
Well, their logic is trust the government. We will take care of you. And there's so many people that are following that line and not realizing that trusting the government means that you're going to take all these jabs. You're going to comply with everything they say. I'm not like that.
No.
I never have been.
No.
I've always been the one to say, up yours, champ. And why? Why is this happening? Why do you tell me that this should be the way I live? Why should I live that way?
Because they want
And when they
control.
don't have an argument, you're a racist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or a white supremacist. Don't.
Oh, yes.
Sure.
I'm a white
Definitely
supremacist and I'm a racist.
Yep.
I'm a white
I tell 'em,
supremacist
look,
and a racist.
I tell them I've been called worse. So,
Yeah.
What's the problem?
Yeah. Exactly.
Just laugh it off.
Hey, guys, my buddy just texted me. He has just caught a 14-pound coho.
Oh, cool.
He's out fishing the river, and I just got a report. Ron, do you think, where do you think I want to go tonight?
Let's go.
That's where
Let's
I'm
go.
going when I hang out
let's
on
go.
this road, man. I'm going to the river.
I'm
The
with you.
cohos are in there.
Yeah.
Saturday morning,
now-
I'm going to be doing this.
Yep.
Well,
All the fun.
heading down the river up to, Anderson.
But see, you're out in the bush. That's the thing. And when you get out in the wild, into nature, a lot of the stress is gone.
Yeah.
And that's why I spent so much time. Well, you saw pictures of where I fish, the one spot I fish.
Yeah.
And,
and you know where I am, Dave.
yeah,
And what is out here? It's heaven on earth, man.
it is.
I find with the amount of things that are going on in the world right now, especially if you spend a lot of time following what's going on, to say that the level of insanity has not increased lately would be an understatement. It seems like we're just being bombarded with an oligarchy of all kinds of crazy stuff all hitting us at the same time. So I find when I get out and I walk the woods for a little bit every day.
I saw this stuff coming.
What I do,
Yeah,
Ron, I take my shoes and my socks off and I walk in bare grass. And try that, guys, because it absolutely does something to
Yeah,
you.
it'll literally help ground you. It'll really
It
help
grounds
ground
you.
your body.
It does, and it works miracles because in the levels of insanity that we see, you know, I'm doing I do a radio show, so I kind of have to follow this stuff, even though I really don't want to. A lot of times I don't want to see it, but you have to. And levels of insanity we're seeing are just beyond anything I've ever seen before.
Yeah.
Well, I got out of the city 7 years ago now, and I got about an acre of land, I guess, and you know, I grow food, and I recommend that anybody that's in the cities get out, get yourself a few acres, and grow your own food. Plant trees, apple trees, and so on. So you know, if you can grow fruits in your area, great. Vegetables, grow whatever you can in your area.
Yeah.
And get away from the cities, because once it goes down, the cities are going to fall first.
Yeah.
There is absolutely no way that there's enough food in these cities, in the grocery stores in the cities, to feed everybody that's there.
No.
And it's all going to come down to whether you want to survive or not.
If you really think about it, if you go to the grocery store today, how much food is on the shelves? If we had an emergency tomorrow, how much food would be left on the shelves a day later?
Yep.
There might be 3 days worth of food.
Yeah, I was going to go hunting last week, but they frown on hunting in the grocery store.
Anybody that can eat at this point, sir.
That's good.
Anybody that can stockpile food right now, Ron, should do that. If you still
they should.
Together, because I believe we're going to have real problems coming in the next little while.
We've got things coming.
Feed.
Yeah.
I've been doing that for about 3 years now, Ron. I've been putting stuff away.
I started growing some of my own food on my back patio here. I've had a harvest of beans already. I'm continuing to harvest it. I've got strawberries that I've been harvesting since early summer, and I still am.
Wow.
I've harvested a tomato, but I think I've got some tomato plants that are in trouble because I've only got one small tomato off of 4 plants. So something's going on there. But
I have a bunch of tomatoes, and the problem that I have is that we've had frost a few nights. But where I'm at is in the north, so we are due for snow real soon here.
Yeah.
So
and
it'll snow for 8 months.
You get winter soon, Dave.
Yeah.
We you know what I'm on? All our cedar trees up in the north coast here are dying.
Oh, jeez.
Dying. Every one of them I'm looking at now has got all kinds of brown dead stuff on the inside now. All kinds of it. Every tree. That wasn't there 5-6 years ago.
No.
It's there now. So, folks, when you see the trees die, you know you are not far behind.
Yeah.
And that's a fact. Think
That's
about
true.
that for a minute.
But as far as
spray us like rats, why are we allowing that to go on? Why does not the human race rise in a voice and tell them to ground these airplanes? Stop spraying us with beryllium and strontium, potassium iodide, mercury, distillates, and aluminum phosphates, and the 23 chemicals that you can go right now to the U.S. Patent Office website and Google weather modification chemtrail spraying. And look at the patents that are in place right now. There's patents in that office. You can go look at the list of chemicals that are in these sprays that they're putting into your sky. They're all metal based. They're all ending up in the earth. They're ending up in a biosphere. They end up in our food. They end up in our animals. Everything we're being in your lungs. You're being absolutely bombarded with chemicals. For what reason? To stop the world from getting warmer? Well, the climate scam is the biggest scam ever played on the human race, folks. And if you guys are still falling for that, it's just bullcrap what they're doing and spraying it for that reason, which that is so bad for it, and yet they're everywhere. Why are we allowing that to go on?
And how many scientists right now are saying that we're actually on our way into an ice age?
Yeah.
We are.
So,
let them explain that one now, eh? And then, of course, the government's on Canada, and climate change is the reason we're having all these earthquakes and hurricanes and fires. It's climate change, man. It's you humans that are doing it.
Then we're going to
But
end
you
up
know,
paying
I
an
know, Ron, you said this
anti-climate
100
change.
times. One major volcanic eruption puts as much carbon into the atmosphere as the whole industrial revolution since 1910.
What about these forest fires?
Big eruption does that, and yet in Canada now we're paying a carbon tax. You guys are lucky you don't have a maniac running your country, but we're paying for carbon in Canada. I mean, we're made of carbon, guys. Carbon's good for plant growth, and it's been turned into our enemy. I don't understand any of it anymore, Ron. I do, but I don't. Why people can't see this, I have no idea.
Yeah, we'll pay an anti-carbon tax.
Yeah. Isn't that the truth? An anti-carbon tax. Go figure. You know,
we represent 1.5% of all the carbon in the world. That's what Canada produces, Ron. We absorb 30 approximately. I've read 3 reports based on our tree mass in Canada, the amount of trees that grow on our soil. Based on that, we're absorbing about anywhere from 21 to 32 times the amount of carbon that we actually produce in Canada. So we're actually absorbing carbon out of the atmosphere. For the
carbon
world.
negative.
For carbon. What the hell is going on, folks?
Carbon negative. Go figure.
I'm very confused. Somebody help me.
That's why they're burning the trees.
Yeah, exactly.
We can't have that happening. Oh no, we can't have that. We have to prove that there's carbon in the air.
You can't have the wood stove in your house because that's killing the planet.
Yeah,
the forest fires we had this year in Canada. Oh
yeah,
years of wood stoves would not match the amount of carbon that went in from the fires this year in Canada.
Yeah.
Not the fires. It's happening.
I can tell you, I'll be using my wood stove.
Yeah.
I will not have icicles hanging from my eyelids.
Well, yeah, but they want to get me to electric. Electric, that's the answer for the future. Electric cars.
Yeah.
It takes, what is it, 120 gallons? What was the report I read, Dave? Did you send me that link? There's a couple of them going around.
Yeah, I sent you a couple of links.
Yeah, the insanity of electric vehicles. It's beyond insanity. It really is. The amount of diesel they're using to produce the electricity to charge your cars in comparison to what you get out of that vehicle, opposed to conventional vehicles and conventional gasoline engines. It's just absolutely absurd.
Yeah.
Barry,
absurd.
I can tell you that electric vehicles in my area would be completely useless.
Yeah.
Because of the distance between towns, first of all. And secondly, in the winter, we've had temperatures as much as 70 below zero here. And most people with regular cars and good batteries couldn't get their cars started. So what makes you think that you're going to get an electric vehicle started in that cold?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are they using to heat the vehicles?
Well, exactly.
Electric. So how long are those batteries going to last?
They're not.
Not long, and I'm sorry, but between $5,000 and $30,000 to replace a battery? Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Exactly. I whine about over $100 now to buy a battery.
A friend of mine lives in Albuquerque, New Mexico, where that stupid governor did her thing. Last year, she had a hybrid. Her car stopped running because her battery went dead. To replace her battery, it was $5,000.
Yeah.
$5,000 for one battery.
Yeah.
And it depends on who made the battery as to what the price is, because some of them are 30 grand.
You're right.
And then you have the problem where if you have a fire with them, a lot of the fire departments don't know how to deal with electric vehicle fires because it's different than any other vehicle.
Right.
Yep. You have hydrogen explosions to deal with, massive hydrogen explosions.
Yeah.
Hey, so Ron, how long are we going to go here?
We got to go. We got to get out of here pretty quickly. I want to talk about some earthquakes in California. Then we're going to get out of here. But I appreciate you, brother, being here with us. Barry loves to hear about these earthquakes too. So I'm just going to briefly highlight some earthquakes that have been hitting, so everybody understands it. This is Cabazon. This is what they declare as part of the Anza Gap. Look at these tremors here. Look at these tremors here, guys. This is incredible. This is nuts. tremors all over the place. Now, let's go over east of Los Angeles. This is Fontana. This is Fontana over east of LA. Look at the earthquakes and tremors here. Up at the top of this seismogram, guess what? A 3.1 earthquake this morning. A 3.1 earthquake this morning. Fontana, California. Okay? Let me show you some more here. I think you're going to be blown away. I know you're going to be blown away. Okay? How about Walnut La Puente? This is in Los Angeles. This happens to be, and they will tell you that this volcano is dead. Look at this activity at this volcano. This is Walnut La Puente. Look at the earthquakes hitting here. This is magma beneath the surface that's causing these earthquakes. Walnut La Puente in Los Angeles. Not to be outdone, there's more places than that. Look at this. This is over by Long Beach. Long Beach, guys, look at the tremors here. No, I don't believe we have any earthquakes here at Light Hype near Long Beach. But look at the tremors. It's almost non-stop. This is not the worst we've seen it over at Light Hype. We've seen it much worse than this. But it continues here. It's continuing. I have something else here. Okay? Let's go over another place just a few miles away from there. This is State Street over near Long Beach and Anaheim area. Look at this. Here we're actually seeing earthquakes. Not just tremors, but actual earthquakes. Okay? I see at least 6 2.5 to 3.0 earthquakes. 3.0 is a small earthquake. 2.5 is minor earthquakes. And yes, there's a bunch of tremors here as well. But you can see the earthquakes hitting here. Okay? Southwestern Los Angeles. Then let's go down to Imperial, California. Southern California. The Salton Sea. This is Bombay Beach, where the San Andreas Fault goes underneath the Salton Sea. Look at the earthquakes here. This is a San Andreas Fault, guys. These are 3.2 to 3.5 earthquakes. This is not as bad as it has been, but it is that bad. Okay? This is a San Andreas Fault in Southern California, guys. This is what's happening. This is what's happening. I can't tell you everything because if I did, I'd be here all night. Literally. But there are earthquakes everywhere. Let's look at Moore Park, just north of Los Angeles. Look at this earthquake. Moore Park, we've never seen this big an earthquake in Moore Park yet. I've been monitoring Moore Park for about 3 years now. Look at this. Look at that. 7 p.m. last night. Just after 7:45, about 7:47 last night, a 3.5 small earthquake. It's incredible, guys. This is, for the most part, a town. Moore Park is, for the most part, a sleeping town. Okay? Yes, it has some gas stations. Yes, it has some stores. But it's basically a place where people have homes. We're having earthquakes here. Earthquakes all over Los Angeles. Earthquakes down in the Imperial Valley. I checked earthquakes in San Diego County, and there's not that many earthquakes today. Just tremors. Just tremors in San Diego. But I showed you some earthquakes in the Imperial Valley. I showed them to you in the Los Angeles area. They're all over. 3.1 in Fontana today. This one is a 3.5 in Moore Park. We're getting bigger and bigger earthquakes all over Southern California. Okay? We had a 5.8 off the coast of Oregon earlier this week. We have more coming. I should say off the coast of Oregon, off the coast of California. A 5.8 magnitude earthquake, a large earthquake off the coast of California. More are coming. More earthquakes are coming. Okay? You can't make this stuff up. You cannot make this stuff up. We've got earthquakes, we've got fires, we've got all sorts of nasty people all over this world of ours that are causing problems. Lots and lots of problems. All of us we've got to get our acts together. We've got to stop it. We have to stop it. I love Barry and Dave because they've got answers. Answers in the northern part of our North American continent. We've got some answers down here in the United States. We need to get everybody together to say, no, we're not going to put up with this nonsense any longer. That's what we've got to do. Earlier today, I had someone tell the lady in my life that Jesus Christ was not the Messiah. I beg to differ. They said Jesus Christ was not the Messiah. I had to laugh. All over the scriptures, it talks about Jesus Christ being the Messiah. Now, why am I stuck on this particular title or subject? Why am I stuck on it? Because, folks, we have thrown the scriptures and we've thrown prayer out of the schools. We have as much done so in our lives, each of our lives, in our towns, in our cities, in our villages, in our states and countries. Not just here in the United States and Canada, all over the world. I have never seen such problems as England is having right now. Why? Because they've turned their backs to God, on God. The same thing in Scandinavia, the same thing in Austria and Hungary and France and Germany. They've turned their backs on God. And now they're in trouble. Everybody is in trouble. Now, guys, in Matthew chapter 10, verse 33, but whomsoever shall deny me before men, him will I also deny before my Father which is in heaven. That's Jesus Christ himself talking. Okay? Whosoever shall deny me before men, him will I also deny before my Father which is in heaven. Brothers and sisters, men and women, friends and family, please don't turn your back on God. Don't turn your back on Jesus Christ. He warns us right here. Jesus Christ warns us right in that scripture right here. Whoso therefore shall confess me before men, him will I confess also before my Father which is in heaven. But whomsoever shall deny me before men, him will also I deny before my Father which is in heaven. If we deny God, if we deny Jesus Christ, we're toast. Plain and simple. Our countries were founded on God's people. God-believing people. Christianity. And now it's been turned upside down. It's no small wonder that we're having problems in our countries. It's no small revelation where we're headed. It's up to each and every one of us to turn things around. We can't do it by ourselves. I want to thank Dave and Barry for being here. These two men, ladies and gentlemen, are God's gift to Canada. They really are. Dave was running for political office several years ago. Barry has been standing up to everybody from Western Canada. I admire both of these men. I admire other people like them. They're standing up for God, standing up for their beliefs, and standing up for their families. If you want to go over to YouTube, look at what Rand Paul did today. Listen to his speech. It takes about 11 minutes. He stands up. He stands up. Everybody needs to stand up and be counted. Stand up for the Creator. Stand up for God. That's my admonition to all of you. Please do that. Stand up for each other and stand up for God. Unite ourselves together. Together we are a mighty team. Together we all are a mighty team. They can't take us down if we stand together side by side. I'm with all of you. I started this channel 4.5 years ago on the basic premise that I want to make sure that we can help people and try to save people's lives. And yes, I'm being told by a lot of people that yes, we have saved people's lives, and I hope that's the case. But I have a feeling we can save hundreds of thousands of more lives. The more people we bring into this EMA family, the better. Please share this program far and wide. I think we had a good discussion tonight. That's why I brought these guys in. We're going to be doing a lot more of this, not just with Barry and Dave either. We're going to be doing a lot more of this. We're going to be bringing more family members in to talk about issues and things that we can do to survive. Again, this is Emergency Preparedness Month. I don't want anybody to forget that this is Emergency Preparedness Month. Get your emergency supplies together. The other day I gave you a 96-hour supply kit, a 4-day emergency supply kit. I gave all of you the information that you needed. If you don't have it right now, you didn't hear that, go back to, I believe, Monday and hear my spiel on how you can put together your own supply kit. We talk a lot about supply kits. I want that ingrained in your skulls. I want that ingrained forever in your minds. You have to have an emergency supply kit, and you have to have a plan. Write your plans. Write your plans. And also have water. You cannot forget your water. You can't forget your water. Brothers and sisters, I'm going to get out of here. We've been on the air about 2 hours now. I love each and every one of you. Hey.
Thanks for having me, Ron.
You bet. Thank you, Barry. God bless you. Thanks, Dave. Appreciate you guys very much.
No problem, Ron. Anything we can do to help. Like I said, we're all in.
We're all in it together.
Yeah, we are. And we're all in. It's just that simple.
Yeah.
We don't have a choice.
Yeah. We have to stand together. Thank you all so much. Please give us a thumbs up before you leave tonight. If you have any comments, leave them after this show is over in the comments section of this program. If you want to support this program, we have the super chat that someone gave us $10 here tonight, which is wonderful. We really appreciate that. God bless you all for that. We also have our PayPal locations, 2 of those. We have our Venmo location, and we also have our post office box. We can't forget that. We cannot forget that. P.O. Box 422, Valdese, North Carolina, 28690 is our post office box. I love your cards and letters. They mean more to me than anything else. I really do. When you guys stuff them full of support, that means extra special. It's awesome. God bless all of you. I love and appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for standing by all of us. It means the world to all of us. We're in this thing together. Canada and the United States. We're all in this together. Okay?
We were put here for a reason, Ron.
That's right. That's right. God bless you all. Until tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, if anything else happens tonight, we'll be back here to tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available. Until then, we will see you on the other side. God be with you till we meet again. Good night, everybody. Have a great night.
Good night, Ron.
Be safe.